organisers of London's Olympic Games say this site presents the UK's biggest peacetime security challenge. With 180 heads of state and millions of visitors descending on the city, the intelligence services raised the alert level. A terrorist attack here in 2012 is now considered highly likely.
Hundreds of police have set up dozens of checkpoints just like this one throughout Lower Manhattan. They're targeting trucks and vans in particular. They're searching for rentals and vehicles with unusual number plates. They're looking in them and under them. They're searching for chemical traces and they're using radiation monitors.
Well, 10 years after September 11, it's places like this one which are crucial in the war in Afghanistan. This observation post is up over 2,000 metres. The soldiers here are the eye in the sky for troops in this area. They're able to relay communications and also to keep a watch on insurgents who are trying to cross backwards and forwards over the Pakistani border.
Once in a while, Monroe meets a different kind of patient.
This one is weighing heavier on me than most, all right?
But is the problem a tumour or something else?
What if I tell you that God is talking to me?
It's a story that will touch your heart.
What if there's something bigger than medical science?
When the brain surgeon finds himself treating the soul.
Your brain misfiring is not the same as God talking to you.
You're not in my head.
Monroe, tomorrow 8:30, ABC One. On Australian Story, the Bra Boys, fearless one day.
It was about never back down, never be scared.
Scared to death the next.
I was looking at a charge of like 5 years in jail. Sitting in that jail cell was the emptiest, loneliest, scariest part of my life.
And the unlikely friendship with a TV drama legend.
The film's very much about young men trying to stop their best friend from ruining their life.
And international triumph.
Mark would be in the top 5 big wave surfers in the world.
Scared Straight, Australian Story, Monday at 8.
First Folio has been called the most important book in the English language.
Literature's most prized work.
They can go as high as $4 to $6 million a piece.
Is on the market.
The question was, where did the copy come from?
A tale so bewildering, you wouldn't read about it.
Smuggled it out of Cuba, if you like.
The man lives with his 80-odd-year-old mum, and this is the sort of thing that he's driving.
Is this once-in-a-lifetime deal to be or not to be? Stealing Shakespeare, Tuesday, 8:30, ABC One.
This episode of The New Inventors was first broadcast some time ago, and the People's Choice Award information supplied at the end of the program is no longer current. Please do not use the SMS or 1900 numbers displayed at the end of this program.
Welcome. That's all the sign I know. So I'll hand over to our sign language interpreter, Jemina Napier. Please welcome her. Now, this is our Access and Ability Special. Tonight we want to show you some of the ways Australian inventors are improving the quality of life of people living with a disability. In my experience, people with a disability don't want to be described as heroes. They don't want sympathy or pity. But one thing they do want is access to things the rest of us take for granted. And tonight we'll see some inventions aimed at doing just that. There's no competition tonight, but we do have an expert panel of judges, all of whom know a lot about disability.
Thousands of Australians walk the Kokoda track every year. None have experienced it like Kurt Fernley.
Fernley pushing for gold! He will get the gold!
I think this proves how tough it is to actually get a Paralympic gold medal.
Wow! Hello. I'm dressing up as the cat on play school today. But first, we look at the clock. Well, that's great. That gives us some time to bake the cake.
As a Human Rights Commissioner, Graham Innes is used to fighting discrimination, and being visually impaired, that's also extended to his private life.
The major barrier that most people with disability face is the limits that are put on them by other people.
So please welcome Paralympian Kurt Fearnley, filmmaker and presenter Sophia Golan, and Federal Discrimination Commissioner Graham Innes. Welcome all. Many inventions aimed at improving life for those with a disability are aimed at providing assistance in doing essential daily tasks. Things like eating, moving about, communicating, but it's also important not to forget that everyone in the world, whether living with a disability or not, wants to have fun.
Our engineering group was asked to modify a buggy so that a child with no leg movement would be able to drive it.
And I got involved because I'm the person they designed it for.
With our driving controls, you can accelerate and brake with your hands.
First off, we used a gyro, a device used in some bicycles to stop the cables tangling when you turn. That allowed us to attach the accelerator lever directly to the steering wheel.
The brakes are activated by squeezing a small metal wheel just behind the steering wheel. The design leaves enough leg room for Daniel to get into the buggy and has lots of safety features. You can brake and accelerate by hand, even when you are turning, so your hands never need to leave the wheel.
Now that was awesome.
Please welcome Charles Scott, Colin Roylance and Daniel Conway. Hey, Charles. Colin, Daniel, how you going? Daniel, tell me how this began.
Well, I got given a newsletter by Engineering for Humanity.
Yep.
And they wanted to design a motorised buggy for someone with a disability. And I said, I'll do it. And after a few meetings, that's just how we got started.
And here it is.
Yep.
Charles, well, I guess the steering controls are really the main innovation here, aren't they?
That's right.
So can you just show us how it works? Or Daniel, perhaps you can demonstrate the accelerator.
Yep, you just pull back on this black lever for the accelerator.
Yep.
And then up and back for the brakes.
Okay, so you don't have the use of your legs, so everything has to be done by your hands. Much trial and error, Colin?
Very much.
Yeah.
Like when we first got the vehicle, it was as a standard vehicle with pedals, and we had to rebuild the steering column.
Yeah.
And to suit the hand controls.
We'll hop in and take it for a ride. All right, well, when you're ready, gentlemen, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. It's only a half-hour show, so, you know. Have a good trip. All right, you better stop or you'll hit a camera person. Come on back. Joke. Lovely, thank you. Now, Daniel, that was pretty tame, but when you're out there riding it, what's it like?
Yeah, it's heaps fun.
Heaps fun?
Because it's outside, just over the bumpy road, over, like, dirt and stuff, so...
Lovely.
Yeah.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, please thank Daniel. And Charles and Colin come over to the panel. And have a say. What are you intending to do with it, Charles?
We intend to donate to the Spine and Bifida Association.
Great. Kurt?
I remember as a kid growing up with a disability, I would jump in a billy cart made of tin and wheels and drag down a hill at a fast pace. You really wanted that element of danger.
Yeah.
But then there's also the idea that people with disabilities need to be wrapped in cotton wool. Have you found a balance?
Yeah, well, we've equalled the joy of when you look at Daniel, when he first got in the car and drove it around, the smile on his face was worth $1 million.
And the speed-wise, comparatively to a stock standard, off-the-rack, able-bodied person, could be driving it? Is it the same
Well,
deal?
it all depends on the vehicle when it's bought. The size of engine regulates the speed.
Sophia?
Well, I was just looking at it. It's a nice set of wheels. It's a nice colour, and I was thinking, would you have to build them from scratch with, or it's the modification that can just be put in easily?
Well, it is. It's a pre-built unit that you can put in. You just manufacture the steering column to suit.
And do you find that it increases the attractiveness potential? Of the person driving?
Like I said to Daniel, he'll get a lot more girls asking him to have a drive.
Sounds good to me.
Graham?
I'm interested in challenging some stereotypes here. So, what colours does it come in? Can you get red go-fast stripes?
You can get whatever colour you like.
Colour.
That was exactly the question I expected someone who's blind to ask.
Yeah. And can the steering yoke and controls be put in other vehicles, electric wheelchairs, cars, etc.?
You could probably use the engineering of it, the fact that you could modify it to suit any vehicle.
Summing up, Kurt?
Summing up, I would say that often people with disabilities are seen from the outside as just having limitations put on all the time. People with disabilities don't see that until they're either told they can't do something or are put in a situation where physically they can't do it. I think that you've removed one of those limitations, so congratulations.
Sophia?
It might seem frivolous, but the need to make friends with your peers isn't frivolous at all. So I think if it attracts people and it becomes a talking point and to top it off, makes the person more mobile, then I think it's a great thing.
Graham?
Well, I think as well as being a chick magnet, it's a great initiative. And really people with disability getting into an exciting recreation activity is a fantastic development. Just don't let me loose in it because my guide dog is hopeless on $1 for left and $2 for right.
Please thank Charles Scott and Colin Roylands. Thanks very much. Thank you. Well done. And by the way, if you have any questions or comments about tonight's show, then why not join all tonight's inventors in a web forum straight after the show at abc.net.au/New Inventors. Wasn't it fantastic when about 20 years ago everyone started using computers? Isn't it wonderfully easy to guide your mouse around the screen, then click on whatever you want? Well, try doing that with your eyes closed. It's not so easy to use a computer if you're blind or vision impaired.
As a blind person, I didn't want to pay $1,000 for a special program to be able to read the words on my computer screen. So I wrote my own program.
And we worked together, making it free and available to anyone who needed it.
With the screen reader, you know exactly what's on your computer screen.
When you move your cursor over words as synthetic voice reads them out to you.
If you are at home, it lets you stay in touch with friends.
Hi guys, the sailing from Sydney to NZ was beautiful.
And in touch with work.
Hello all, is the NVDA Virtual Synthesis exposed for external applications?
It's great for students because you can copy it onto a USB stick and use it on most computers at school, work or university. Our screen reader gives blind people free access to over 80% of computers.
Please welcome from Brisbane, James Tay. Hey, James.
Hello, James.
Thank you very much for coming in. So there are other computer programs that do this sort of thing, but yours is something you can download freely.
Exactly, and in this sort of industry, that's incredibly important because the other packages are worth sometimes, up to thousands of dollars. And when you can't even afford that, that's not necessarily a good thing, and not be able to access a computer in this day and age.
Well, it's all part of access, isn't it? Money is access too.
Exactly.
Or if it's free, it becomes more accessible.
Exactly.
Okay, can you tell us how this works? First thing is it can read text on screen, right?
Yeah, so we've got the lovely New Inventors website up here, and I'm going to read the first part of the paragraph.
The New Inventors is all about inventions and inventors. Each week, 3 totally new, never-before-seen inventions are demonstrated, examined, prodded, pushed, pulled, and occasionally dropped by host James O'Rodin.
All right, that's enough. I don't drop them very often. It can tell you where the mouse is on the screen. The mouse is at the top of the screen, and as you move down, Oh, wow.
So as you're moving down, the frequency is going down.
Yeah, right.
And
the lower it is, the lower you are.
Yeah, exactly. So if you can't see the mouse, you can't see where the cursor is, that's a good idea. It gives you a good location on where it is on the screen.
And then left to right, if you've got a stereo TV, you'll hear this. On the left, it comes out the left speaker. But if you have a computer with speakers, you can tell orally where the mouse is.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. Let's go to the panel. So, do you know, have a lot of people downloaded it already?
It's difficult to get an exact count, but certainly we'd say in the thousands at least.
Okay,
probably
great.
tens of thousands.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Sophia.
Well, for me, being deaf, obviously it holds true that a picture tells 1,000 words. And it struck me, I was curious, say, if you were to visit, say, a dating site on the internet, would it be able to tell you if someone was hot or not?
I'm afraid not. That's beyond the capabilities of a computer to determine, I'm afraid. But, we might be able to develop something like that in the future, but it's not going to happen just yet.
Didn't you see with that picture of me on the screen, it was burning, man?
The voice got more intense.
Yeah, it did. Graham?
As a blind person myself, could I take this screen reader on a memory stick, walk into an internet cafe and independently use their computers?
Absolutely. You can just go in and plug in USB stick, and you've got speech on, for the entire computer.
Well, that's excellent. So I can get to those dating sites really quickly. But
yeah, from anywhere you like.
Yeah.
Seems to be a theme, actually.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm also interested in the positioning of the mouse by sound that you demonstrated. Is that a unique feature to this screen reader?
There is another product out there which has something, I guess, much more primitive, where it actually uses musical tones to indicate the position of the mouse. But musical tones, by their nature, aren't a continuous sound, and so the response is quite slow. In addition, it doesn't use the stereo field to tell you where the mouse is, so that's unique to us as well.
Okay.
Mate, I love the zero price tag, but how are we going to make this technology progress without the constant income?
We're looking, ultimately our income needs to come from grants and from people who are interested in their software being accessible with our invention.
Summing up, Sophia.
Oh, well, I think, not only has it got some innovative features, but it's free. And I find that access is often hard enough without having to pay for the privilege of joining in. So I just think it's brilliant.
Graham.
Great piece of software. I love the open source and no cost philosophy. My family could lose me to computer games with that mouse technology, but I know my wife's watching, so definitely not dating sites.
Kurt.
Mate, my uncle used to say, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, ruffles its feathers like a duck, it's probably still a chook. There's always a catch. But with your stuff, you're changing lives at no cost, no catches. Big fan.
Good on you. Please thank James Tay. Good on you, James. You know, one of the most inspiring inventions we've ever had on the show has been the Liberty Swing, a swing designed to be used by kids who use wheelchairs. Well, here's a bike designed to be used by a young man who was born with no arms.
My name's Josiah. I'm 10. For most of my life, I've dreamed of riding a bike with my friends, but it was never going to be easy. About a year ago, my mum, Marika, called the Dream Fit Foundation and spoke to Darren Lohman.
We use engineering to overcome disability. Josiah's dream was to be able to ride a bicycle.
It's basically a low bike, and then you just hop in it. The wheels are at the front, and then you just pedal, and then you steer by leaning.
We knew that he was really good with his feet, but we wanted to use his upper torso as one of the parameters that would allow us to steer the bike left and right. We have a rocker system that is set on the main frame of the recumbent bike, and that allows him to rock left and right.
I'm gonna still take it and keep riding around and strengthen my muscles and maybe become a Paralympian.
Now, Josiah's in the audience. G'day, Josiah.
Hello.
Thank you very much for coming in. Maybe they could modify it to be on a motorbike in a few years.
Maybe.
Do you reckon? Now, you said you wanted to be in the Paralympics. Kurt, next to me, is a Paralympian. So, well, what does he need to do?
I think that keep pedaling, I think as a Paralympian, you need every muscle that's working needs to work as hard and as efficient and be as strong as it possibly can be. And if you keep riding that thing around, mate, you'll be on your way.
Thanks.
Thanks very much for coming in, mate. We look forward to seeing you on telly at the Paralympics in a couple of years. Please thank Josiah. If you don't have the use of your legs, getting anywhere, even from the kitchen to the bathroom, becomes a major problem. So the wheelchair was invented. And just as other methods of transport, like cars, planes and bikes, keep getting better, so do wheelchairs.
Traditional wheelchairs are heavy, clumsy, and inconvenient.
As a wheelchair user, I need several wheelchairs to get through one day.
The Freedom Wheelchair is 3 wheelchairs in 1. It can be used in a shower and also as a commode chair. The secret ingredient is the special nanotech-based stainless steel, which is unusually light and strong and does not corrode. The design of the chair does away with an axle, uses plunger brakes that are easier and safer, and can incorporate a suspension system. With the wheels off, the chair falls so small that it can almost fit anywhere, even the overhead locker of a large aeroplane.
That's what I call freedom.
Please welcome from Sydney, Lou Pappy. Hey, Lou.
Hello.
How are you going?
Nice to meet you.
Now, how did you get involved in building a better wheelchair?
2 things: inspiration by users, and then come across this special tube, which created the opportunity to create a chair that has no axle in between the wheels. Is a very light.
Oh, okay, and that's also partly using the nanotechnology enhanced stainless steel, right?
Correct.
Because when for a lot of people in wheelchairs, there's one for the road.
Yes.
Then another one for the shower and the toilet, and if you travel, you might have to take
You
two
take
with
normally that with you, yes.
Yeah. So this can be used as a one for the toilet, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. So it can just wheel over a toilet like that.
Correct.
And it can also be used in the shower.
Yep.
But then show us how you convert it to a street wheelchair.
By simply change the position of the wheel.
Yeah, and those wheels, it's simply a matter of pushing in and off they come.
Correct.
So they go a little bit higher.
Yes, and this also, the chair has ability to change the angle.
Sorry, they go a little bit lower,
the angle of the seat.
Yeah.
And therefore can adapt a different way, can adjust the backrest.
Right.
And more to the point, the prototype then is a 1 kilo heavyweight, 6.1. The final chair would be 5 kilos.
5 kilos, amazing.
Without
very light.
upholstery.
And put it together for us.
Yes.
So you've got that little insert there.
So no one see the new travel with a toilet seat.
Yep, yeah, that's right. Although it's there if you need it. And then you put the cushion on.
This is a cushion we develop. Cushion as specified for user by...
Right, but you can custom make
by
that for your own
biomedical
comfort,
engineers,
right?
yes.
Okay.
Right, yep.
And you're going to hop in and show us some... Lou's a wheelchair basketball player.
No good.
No
I
good,
do play.
but enthusiastic. So...
You can see as is maneuverable.
Yeah, well, the lightness is incredible. Come over to the panel. How much will they cost?
We believe then we should be able to take it into the market for less than $4,000.
Yeah, Graham?
What are the risks of rust or damage to the chair from water, soaps, and its use as a commode chair?
The material is a 304 stainless steel, and therefore is a normal stainless steel user. The only better grade is the 316, in which is marine grade. All the other material are polymers.
And have you tried it on aeroplanes, and what's been the reaction of airlines? Does it fit down the aisle, eliminating the need for aisle chairs?
The aisle chair is 20, the aisle of an aeroplane is between 20 to 21 inches, and it's very difficult to go through that chair.
That's right.
It is possible on a large aeroplane to that chair to fit a smaller wheel on inside of the block, because you were no axle.
Yes.
And therefore you could be possible go very close to the aisle, but not necessarily into the aisle. Depends on the aeroplane.
Now, I'm glad aeroplanes came up, because, Kurt, you rather famously, when a particular airline said you couldn't take your chair beyond checkout, you didn't want to be pushed by someone in one of their chairs, so you decided to crawl to the gate?
Often we want to get our chair even past check-in.
Yeah.
You know, that should be a complete standard. And I've been travelling since I was 13 years old, and my chair will fit down the aisle of a plane. But people with disabilities really just, mobility aids can't be taken away from people. And if this became a standard, as in the majority of wheelchairs could fit in the overhead baggage container, that would be a good change, because more and more people and more companies would get used to that accessibility. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Question-wise, I would love nothing more than to come back from the beach, or when I came back from Kokoda, to have left the wheelchair outside and hosed it down for a half an hour. But if that happens, even just a rain shower, I'm squeaking for the next week, purely because of the use of the bearings and the axle. What have you done to change or to alter that technology?
Everything in there, you see now, where is aluminium, being CNC machine, we become polymer. All the fixing are all stainless steel, and there are no bearings in there except for the wheels, and even the shaft will be remade with stainless steel shaft.
Have you thought about the emotional link that is created with a multi-purpose wheelchair between something that is incredibly personal for people with disabilities, as in continence issues, and then something that is visibly part of everyday life and so important with their self-image and their confidence, jumping into a wheelchair that's part of their body, and then also linking it to toiletries?
That chair had been designed by user and had been designed by doctors. We even went through a great lengthy discussion how evacuation is done for people living on a wheelchair. So all of this had been done, and a lot of people what they said to me is, I would have preferred to have a chair then it doesn't show what it is and I can use it if I need to, than going around with a toilet under my arms, because you, talking at me, don't do that.
Sophia?
I was curious, is there room for modification within the wheelchair for, say, for example, someone might be a bit younger, shorter, taller? Is there any room for that?
The chair, this model chair, come in 3 sizes, and obviously the limitation, if people have to use it as a toilet chair or commode, is the width of the chair.
So you see the market for this chair as possibly being a person who travels, or just someone who wants just one chair and that's it?
People that travel, people that want one chair, but it's also a lot of people that take care for all the relatives that are using a wheelchair.
Summing up, Graham?
Lou, I think it's an excellent combination of functionality. The lightweight makes a real difference, I think. And it could mean that airlines let people keep their own chairs.
Okay.
It's light, it seems to be cost effective, it is manoeuvrable. It sounds like it will make transition to life in a wheelchair a lot easier. A few question marks about its its ongoing use, but I think you've really got something.
Sophia?
Well, I think it looks quite sleek and elegant, and I think if you had to share your identity with a set of wheels, then it's a really good starting point to make that adjustment, as Kurt said. I think it looks great.
Thanks very much, Lou. Please thank Lou Pappy.
Thank you.
Good on you. Well, before we finish tonight, I think it'd be good to get a concluding comment from each of our guest judges. Kurt, what do you think about what you've seen tonight and the future of invention as it relates to disability, ability and access?
Again, when people see disability, they see limitations. Any invention that reduces or rids that limitation completely, and not just creates a better environment for that one person, but it creates a better environment overall.
Sophia?
Well, I think one of the biggest and most welcome changes in inventing for people with a disability is that it's now driven by people with a disability rather than people who think they know better, like the medical profession, or it's now done in consultation with the people that they're inventing for. And I think that's a really great change.
Graham?
2 things. First, the smart inventors will invent with access in mind, so that inventions are for everyone, not just for the 80% of Australians who don't have disability. And second, buggies, wheelchairs and guide dogs can improve independence and be chick magnets as well.
By the way, the Winter Paralympics starts on Friday. You can see it on ABC One. So good luck to everyone taking part. Don't forget the web forum starts right after the show at abc.net.au/New Inventors. A big thank you to our judges. Thank you very much. And to all the inventors, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Finally, the quote from American Judge William J. Brennan Jr., who said, "Society's accumulated myths and fears about disability and disease are as handicapping as the physical limitations that flow from actual impairment." Good night. There's no voting for the new Inventors People's Choice Award for this week, but we know that last week the panel picked Bill Byrne and his Sheer Easy. But what did you pick as the People's Choice? There was the Sheer Easy, the Scribe Mate and the Lightweight Panel Brace, and you picked the Scribe Mate.
The People's Choice Award information in this program is no longer current. Please do not use the SMS or 1900 numbers just displayed at the end of this program.